Hello, I'm Dr. Denise Hooks-Anderson, medical editor of the St. Louis American newspaper.
Hello, I'm Dr. Fredrick Echols, Director of Health for the City of St. Louis.
Today, we'd like to speak with you about pests, which become an increased health concern during the summer months and when parts of St. Louis are flooded.
Some pests are known as vectors, and the difference between just pests that are nuisance and pests that are vectors, that vectors transmit diseases to humans. Pests, although they negatively impact our quality of life, they're not known to transmit disease. However, vectors are pests that transmit disease to humans. So pests of interest for health departments are mosquitoes, ticks, and rodents, particularly mice and rats, because again, they do transmit diseases to humans. Other pests such as cockroaches and bed bugs, although they impact our quality of life, are not known to transmit diseases directly to humans.
Some of you may be thinking that this topic doesn't concern you, but please listen to make sure you are doing all that you can to keep you and your loved ones safe from diseases carried by vectors and pests.
Different species of pests and vectors grow in different regions of across the U.S. St. Louisans are most commonly exposed to mosquitoes and rodents, specifically mice and rats, which can be harmful. Wildlife such as possums, skunks, and birds can spread different illnesses to humans indirectly. Again, so because they do not directly transmit diseases to humans, they are not considered to be vectors.
You may never have seen rodents or mosquitoes around your home, but it's good to know how to prevent them and how to control them if they do appear. Dr. Echols, tell us why mosquitoes can be more than just an outdoor nuisance.
Certain species of mosquitoes can transmit viruses such as West Nile virus and Zika virus to humans. And these conditions, if not properly treated, can be life-threatening.
So what attracts these mosquitoes?
Well, standing water is defined for us as water that is stagnant. So meaning there's no movement, there's no passage or flow of water, but just sits. And so standing water is, again, known to be great breeding sites for mosquitoes.
So recently here in St. Louis, we've had lots of rain and lots of flooding. So how can we avoid this water collection?
So it's typically difficult or almost impossible to avoid water collection. And so that's why the monitoring of your yard is really important. So making sure, after heavy rains, that you go out and empty any old tires that are in your yard, any cans, bird baths, etc., that may be just collecting standing water in your yard.
What about kids' toys and plant containers?
Absolutely. So kids' toys can collect water just like tin cans. So we recommend that for families, if you have toys for your children, don't leave them outside. Actually bring them inside, though they're covered, they're less likely to collect water. And it's also important if you have potted plants. Sometimes we'll use plastic containers to catch the excess water if we overwater our plants, but those can be great breeding sites for mosquitoes.
Okay, so we do all those things, but what if the mosquitoes do arrive and quickly get out of control? What do we do then?
If you're noticing the increase in mosquito populations in your jurisdiction, your neighborhood, call the local health department. We have staff on site or staff that are available to go out and spray your area if needed.
Rodents, how do they transmit the disease to humans?
So mice and rats in particular can transmit bacteria such as Salmonella. A lot of people think that mice and rats can only transmit diseases if they're bitten, but that's not necessarily true. So they carry bacteria and allergens and so forth on their body, and so even their hair. So if they get into your living space and they're brushing up against your couch, your sofa, your furniture, they can be transmitted to humans, and so we can end up being carriers, meaning that the bacteria can be on our skin and we can transmit it to someone else. In addition, their droppings may also carry disease and germs and can be accidentally ingested. So if you notice that you have mice or rats in your home, call pest control and also call the local health department, because they have resources that they can provide to potentially help trap the rodents and get them out of your home.
So how do I prevent them from coming into my house and getting into my garage outside?
That's a huge concern. So one of the things we always advise individuals to do is to make sure that if you're throwing away garbage, make sure it's not just out on the sidewalk, make sure it's properly stored in a container, as well as making sure that any holes or cracks in your floorboards, in your doors, make sure they're filled so that because mice love to go through holes to enter spaces. And so making sure those holes and cracks and other gaps are filled will prevent them from doing so. We advise individuals to use and maintain screen doors and screens on windows if you keep your doors and windows open. If you fear rodents like squirrels from coming into your home through your chimney or your roof, we advise you to cut the branches away from your house. That eliminates your chimney and your roof as a potential site of entry for those types of rodents. Rats are considered to be nocturnal animals, and so that means they operate or they come out into the open at night. They don't like to come out during the day. They prefer the outdoors, yet they may dwell under floorboards and enter your home through piping in the house or crevices that provide access to food and water which they seek.
I have one last question. You've given us lots of information about what to do if we have pests or rodents, but I was thinking about the people in our community who rent. And what if they are having problems with their landlord correcting the problem? What do they do?
It's really important for individuals to have a safe and healthy space to live in. And so if you're having issues with rodents or pests in your home, first step is really to report it to your landlord to make sure they're aware of the situation. They can't act on information if they're not aware. If you fail to give them an opportunity to address the situation, you in some ways may be setting yourself up for failure. So report the information to your landlord as soon as you become aware of it. Afterwards, you can also contact the local health department. We oftentimes have resources available that we can provide, or we can link you to agencies that can provide assistance to you. And so again, provide the information to your landlord. They can't do anything if they don't know anything about it. And second, contact your local health department.
And this special segment was brought to you by the St. Louis County Department of Public Health.
Thank you for tuning in.